All right, good evening. I hope everybody is doing well. Here we are, middle of the week already. Unbelievable how fast the time is going. I hope everybody is doing very, very good, and I hope you guys are having a good week. We're going to get into the topic shortly. Before we do, I just want to remind everybody that this is a very family friendly oriented channel. I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat with each other. No racism, no nastiness. And if you can't abide by those really simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue wrenches will boot you out of here because we're not going to have it. So, a sad note to start with, I have to say this just so you guys know. If you're wondering where the comments are from Susan Lane, sadly, Susan Lane will not be making any more comments. She got herself blocked today. I know she was a light of pure happiness and joy, and just a wonderful person, I'm sure. I've never seen such negativity, I'll be honest with you, ever. Just nothing positive, just everything negative, negative, negative. And I just had enough. And so she went bye bye. So we will not be seeing any more of the delay. And I actually went to her channel to view her awesome, wonderful words of wisdom in her videos. And lo and behold, she didn't have any videos up there at all. It's shocking. I'm so surprised. Somebody with so much to say, you would think that. So she'll have to join the other people that go over onto somebody else's channel and complain about what an a-hole I am. Oh, that's so bad. Too sad. I I can't be, guys, I'm telling you, I can't be more clear. I say it, I just say it like it is, right? I just say it like it is. Just don't be a jerk. There's no reason for it. There's no reason for it. And so, you know, I give, give them plenty of rope. And I've been watching, honestly, for her for a while and going, I'm going to have to block that one. I'm going to have to block that one. And so and she was one of the ones that was saying, oh, well, you've probably blocked thousands of people. I'll be honestly, I probably have blocked under 200 people in the time that I started blocking people, probably under 200, because once you get the initial garbage out of your comments, um, Susan Lane, Stefan, I blocked Susan Lane. Once you get the initial garbage out of your channel, they figure it out really quickly. So, tunnel. Oh, I got a fan on. Let me turn this fan off. Hold on. Maybe that will make it sound better. Yeah, she was saying that I've blocked thousands of people on the channel. I haven't blocked thousands of people. When you go from, okay, and I'm just going to talk about this just for a second, and we're actually going to get into the topic, I promise. When you go from getting an average of 20,000 views a day on your videos, and you're getting 650 to 700,000 views a month on your videos, and it goes from that to you get between 6 and maybe 10,000 views a day if you're lucky, okay, and you're down to 220,000 views a month. It's not because all of a sudden I turned into the biggest tool in the world, because I really didn't change. Okay, that's not why that happened. So there's, oh yeah, this was when we went to go see Aerosmith up in Fenway. Um, got that shirt there for that concert. Awesome concert too, by the way. I know I've said it before, but they are amazing. They might be old, but those guys can still rock. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's like there's something going on that would cause that. That's all I'm saying. And it's not just because, you know, all of a sudden something is different. Now, listen, I know a lot of people miss seeing all the cats and the other dogs as well. And I get that. I miss the other cats and dogs. Okay. I miss having the chickens here every day. You give me enough time, I will build things up here. Soxy's coming down here when I come back down next time anyway. She will be down here with me. And I'm going to see if maybe I can take Miss Molly too. That's a possibility that I'll take Miss Molly as well. But that's just, that's just the way that goes. But you know, I it was, and somebody had said in the comments too. I did want to talk about this for a second too. Well, when are you going to be doing a major project down there? I don't know if you guys had noticed, but we're building a pavilion. That's a major project. I don't care what anybody says. What we have left to do with that to get that squared away and up and running, which should be over the next couple months. That should be squared away and up and running. That's a major project. Getting the well in was a major project. Oh, and I did want to address that too, because I kept saying, I don't have the money for the well. I don't have the money for the well. And somebody goes, and then all of a sudden he gets the well. So somebody must have gave him the money. Nobody gave me the money for the well. I'm going to be very clear. And I'm going to tell you because it's none of your business, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I borrowed the money to get the well in. Okay. Borrowed the money to get the well in. So, yeah, the road work, the bunker. Yeah, we got a lot of things going on, down here, helping Mark get his building squared away, helping him with that, and you know, but why are you so mad, Ed? I'm not mad. I'm just saying. I get what I get tired of, people that do absolutely nothing, but all they can do is criticize. That's it. That's all they do. The only thing that they know how to do is criticize every aspect of everything that you're doing, and it's just so it's annoying. So you really, honestly, guys, unless you have a channel, unless you are a YouTuber like me, and I'm not saying oh, we're different. What I'm saying is, if you dealt with what we deal with as a YouTuber, especially when you get a little bit of size and you get a little bit of a following, if you dealt with the hate that we deal with on a daily basis, see, a lot of it you guys don't see. A lot of it you don't see. I see it all. Okay. So it's just, it gets very annoying. And so that's why, thankfully we have the block button. And I have no problem utilizing that. So my only criticism for you would be a cowboy issue. Well, that's never going to change, JJ. I love my Cowboys, just like I love my Yankees. So, but yeah, it is what it is, guys. You know what I mean? It's, again, I'm going to go back to what Steve used to say to me all the time. He says, "You got 107,000 subscribers." He goes, "What's the matter? You can't keep them all happy?" And that's just the way it is. You're never going to keep everybody happy. You're going to piss people off. They're going to be upset for whatever reason, and that's just the way it goes. Okay, so that's enough of that. Enough venting. Let's get into the topic here. We got 326 in the chat already. We're at 112 on the thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. I do appreciate that ahead of time. Also, it really makes a huge difference with the algorithm. So I thank you for that reason as well. Puts us higher up in the things with the more interaction that we have. And also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would please ask you to subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. All right. So let's get into this. Is it too little too late? So very vague topic, right? But I wanted to talk about, we're in the process right now. Japan is starting to build up their military. All right. So they just bought, there was an agreement that they're going to buy 400 missiles from us, that'll travel up to 1,000 miles, I believe, so that they can defend themselves against China and also North Korea should they decide to do something stupid, right? They're starting to rebuild up their military and stuff like that. We are also starting to utilize more bases that are already there in the Philippines, and I talked about that as well. China has been cranking out ships like crazy. China actually now granted, and we're going to go over some of these numbers, okay, so that we're going to talk about this. But China now has more ships than we do. They now have the largest navy. Now, they don't compare in a lot of ways to what we have in availability, okay? But, so in 2000, we had 318 ships out there, okay? As of 2020, we have 297. Now, of those 297, how many of them are active? How many of them are in dry dock? I don't have those numbers, but that's what they're saying we have now. So we actually have less. Hey, Freddie left you. The amount of stupid comments is ridiculous. Most come from people that do nothing. Have a Labatt stall boy. Yeah, no kidding. I absolutely will. And you're right. They don't. They don't do nothing. They put out no content. They bring nothing of value, and all they do is sit and criticize. You're right, Freddie left you. Thank you so much for the comment, and thank you for the donation as well. I do appreciate that. In 2000, China had 110 ships. Now China has 360, and they've been cranking out ships. Now there's a couple comparisons that we can still put out here, okay? Ed, you have many projects going on. Don't sweat the haters. Soldier on, David. Thank you very much, David. I appreciate that. And you're right. I mean, and we're making progress. And when the pavilion's done, the next project after the pavilion is done, honestly, is going to be a greenhouse. I'll tell you that ahead of time. We're going to work on things methodically. We have a game plan. We know what we're going to do. Uh, Navy personnel. The United States has 330,000. China has 250,000 naval personnel. Nuclear powered submarines. We have 50 nuclear powered submarines. Now, China has 62 submarines, but only 7 of them are nuclear powered. But the point I'm trying to make is China has been amping up stuff. They want to be a player. They want to be the man. We're the man right now. The United States is the man. We have the best technology. We have the biggest military in general. They may have more troops. Okay, they have a 2 million man army in China. But I want you to think about something, and just this event that just happened the other day with the latest school incident, right? What's the rhetoric again? Right away, right? Ban this, ban that. Okay. I want you guys to understand something. One of the reasons why the United States has not been invaded, and I don't think we'll ever be invaded with boots on the ground. Now, they may throw nuclear bombs at us or something to that effect, but boots on the ground, I don't think you'll see happen for a simple reason. All right. Even though China may have a 2 million man army, and we got a significant army ourselves with a lot of technology, and granted, okay, in the United States, you would have so many citizens that would stand up. I mean, you look at there's a like they did 4 states for hunting season, 4 states for hunting season, and the people that were registered hunters were the ended up being like I don't know, it was like the second or third largest army in the world, just those few states. So it gives you an idea. We have a lot of weapons in the United States. We have a lot of armed people in the United States. There is no doubt about that. A lot of people have a lot of weapons, and that's okay. But the thing is, the reason that we won't be invaded because we haven't been cowtied, we haven't been disarmed, and so that's one of the main reasons why we have nobody coming here trying to start no crap. That's a huge reason. It's a huge reason. And the thing is, and you see this rhetoric constantly. It's constantly in the media. Oh my God, we got to do this. We got to do that. Again, and I'm going to say this again. What we have here, what the problem is, we have a mental health issue. A mental health issue. I've never once seen a gun pick itself up and just start shooting people for no reason. Okay, there's a lot of gun owners in America that have never hurt anybody, and the only thing you're going to do by restricting people of being able to protect themselves is make us weaker. Period. End of story. Okay, let's address the real issue. Okay, and I'm going to tell you, and I did want to address this too because I think that this is important. A lot of people are going on and on and on about this latest individual being transgendered. Okay. Oh, she was a female who identified as a male, blah, blah, blah. Oh, that is irrelevant. That's an irrelevant thing. The reality is you have somebody that has a mental health disorder that decided that it was a good idea to go and kill children and innocent people. All right. I have a problem with that. Okay. I don't care what you identify as. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what your sexual orientation is. That has absolutely nothing to do with what these things happen. What we have is a mental health issue. And until that is addressed, do you see any of these a-hole politicians out there going, we really need to address this mental health issue? Do they say that? No. They have an agenda. They push their agenda anytime one of these events happen. And realistically, okay, if somebody is that disturbed, and there's a pattern generally, right? There's generally a pattern. They know it's, the one kid that ended up shooting those two teachers, right? Remember, there was another recent incident that just happened. He had to be checked every day before he went to school by these two administrators to make sure he wasn't armed. Why is that kid even in the school? Why is that kid in the school? Okay, if you have that big of a fear that this individual is going to do that you have to search him every day, he should not be there. He should not be there. I mean, it's just the mollycoddling in the sucking up to people all the time. It needs to stop, you know? Yeah, and it was glass doors. Yeah, you can lock a glass door all day long, but as soon as you put a bullet in it, it's done. Doesn't that lock means nothing? It's just and again, what did that school not have a resource officer? Right? We never had that when I was in school. We never had a resource, a policeman that had to be on site all the time. These people, these disturbed individuals that do these type of things, why do you think they pick schools? Why do you think they pick churches? Why do you think that is, folks? Right? Maybe because it's a gun-free zone, right? Maybe that might be the reason why they pick those spots. Now, here's a quick question. How many mass shootings have you seen or heard about? How many mass shootings have happened in, let's see, a gun show? Have there been any mass shootings at a gun show? I can't remember any. You know why? Because most of the people that are going to those gun shows are armed, and they would do something about it. The easy targets, and that's exactly what they're going to do. So what they're trying to do, what they want to do, Biden, right? Ban this, ban that all the time. He's trying to make you a victim. Well, guess what? A lot of us out here are not going to be victims. Not going to be victims. You know what? It's sickening that they're not addressing the real issue, and that really bothers me. It really bothers me. You know, and if you don't think it's a mental health issue, I wonder. And I don't have the numbers. I don't know. I wonder how many of these folks that do these type of things are on some kind of antidepressant. They're on some kind of medication, right? And I wonder if that is a factor. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just curious. I wonder how many of these people were on some kind of a medication. Just curious about that. And like I said, I don't have the answers to that. I don't. But yeah, like I said, if you want to ban that, why are we not banning cars because of drunk drivers, right? Why are we not banning forks because forks are making people fat? If you didn't have a fork, how are you putting that food in your mouth, right? Same principles, the same stupidity. Guess what? If you ban forks, they're going to find something else. People are going to find something else. They'll use their hands, okay, to eat food. They're not. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. When you empty out the psychiatric hospitals, which they did, and put those people on the streets, where's the safety in that? You know what I mean? Yeah, the spork was invented, right? It's amazing to me. And how many people just get in line and go, yes, yes, do this to us, control us more, and it's not going to make one bit of difference. It's not going to make one bit of difference. But I got an idea. How about we arm everybody, and then people will stop acting stupid because they'll know if they go someplace and act stupid, they're probably going to get shot. You know. But I'm going way off course here. But you know what I'm saying? It's maddening. It's maddening to me. So Oh, so many psychiatric hospitals have closed. There's a couple that I've worked for in the past that are not there anymore. They got rid of them. Yeah, they got rid of them. So YouTube unsubscribe me. If I'm not subscribed, they can't do that. I do question YouTube on their motives when they strike you. Your material isn't offensive or anything against their rules. Yeah, well, it's just it's part of the game, Mike. There's nothing I can really do about it. It's just part of the game. Oh, in this latest one, the responders did a great job. The cops took care of business as they should have. Absolutely, as they should have. Unlike what happened in Texas. Unlike what happened in Texas. So, and it wasn't even a cop. It was a border guard that took care of business in Texas. Think about that. They were told that what? They were told to stand down, I believe. Those cops in Tennessee, boy, they went in there and they were like, "Let's go," and good. And good. I'm glad they did what they did, and I'm glad we don't have to feed that piece of crap for the next umpteen number of years before they would ever decide you know, to do. So I don't know. I just people used to have a shotgun rifle in the racks of their trucks. Oh yeah, I can remember being at school and there's gun racks in the trucks at school. People had them right there because they were going. Hunting season was coming up, and they were going to go hunting after class or whatever the case may be. Yeah, I don't know. It's a very sad thing when the real issue is not the one that's being addressed. That the agenda is pushed in the public. And again, that's what I have a problem with. So, but let's go back to China, guys. Um, there has been reports, and I'm not saying that they're true. I'm not saying that they're not true, but there is a lot of reports of a large number of continuous military-aged Chinese men coming into the United States through our very porous southern border. Now, my question would be, now, like I said, I'm not saying this is what it is. This is the big conspiracy theory, but would it shock anybody if they were possibly? Oh, I forgot to. I'll have to call him later. Let me kill this. Hold on a second, guys. I forgot to kill the volume on that. All right. So there we go. All right. Like I said, a lot of military-age Chinese men coming across the southern border. Could it possibly be sleeper cells being put in place with an agenda, waiting for orders? Think about what could happen. You know, what could happen if a organized group of people with bad intentions for the United States came over here and and again, guys, what is our Achilles heel? What have I been saying for a very, very long time in the United States? Our Achilles heel is the power grid. You put that grid down for any length of time, and you are going to have some serious issues in this country. Very serious issues. So it's just, and you look at what they did. They discharged how many of our service members from the service because they wouldn't do this, right? People that wanted to be in the service, that wanted to be there, and they got rid of them because they would not do something, right? And it's like the recruiting numbers are down. They can't get people to join. It's amazing. The stupidity that happens on a daily basis is infuriating. It is just absolutely infuriating, and you know, it's we have some serious issues that are not being addressed, and I don't understand it. I really truly don't. Why are we not securing our borders? People say, "Oh, well, they're building a wall to keep us in." What are you, morons? I mean, seriously, people that say that, are they morons? It's just drug traffickers, child traffickers, right? Left, right, and center. People coming across here with who knows what their intentions are. And it's happened all the time. So With all due respect, I can't recommend joining today's military. Oh, I'll tell you what, Okie Forge. As a veteran, I told my daughter. Now, my son would never be able to be in the military because of his autism. But I told my daughter, I said, do not, absolutely do not go in the military. No, mm-mm. We when I'm telling you guys right now, and I love, and like I said, I love my country. I will tell you that right now. I love my country. I like being a soldier. I had no problem. I obviously volunteer. We're a volunteer army, so but it's just with what's going on now. I would not want my child to do that. Shout out to your son. I'm autistic as well. Okay, well, cool, man. Thank you. Well, glad to have you here. I'm glad you're watching. But yeah, you can't build it back unless you tear it down first. And sadly, I think we need a collapse. And I hate to say that because I know the number of people that we would lose in a collapse. It would be a lot of people, and a lot of good people would die unnecessarily. But you know, yeah, and the military's gone woke too. Exactly. You know what I mean? And I just in the whole agenda that's being pushed in the schools. If I had, I'm glad my kids are out of school. I'm glad my kids are out of school. I'm glad they're done with that. But yeah, it's just really, really, really happy that they're not in there anymore. Because if my kids were in school, I would definitely not have them in a public school anymore. Just it's ridiculous, especially states like California and New York, especially California with again, and I've said this before, and I will say this a million times. I don't care who you sleep with. I don't care what color you are. I don't care, any of that type of stuff. What you do behind closed doors is your own business. But when there's an agenda out there to shame white people, okay, and that's what it is right now. I mean, let's be honest, right? White people are bad. It's all white people's fault and stuff like that, right? That's what they want to. That's what they want you to believe. They want you to be ashamed of being white. That's part of the agenda right now. And you got a lot of these kids that they feed into that 100%, which is very sad in my opinion. And I'm not no, I'm not no, I'm a right wing, lunatic that, white power nonsense. No, absolutely not. Okay. We're all human beings. And, the victimization or the victim mentality also drives me insane. All right. You are not a victim. If you were born like when I was born, all right, when I was born in 1965 and on in that era, all right, it's actually and I see here's the thing, guys. Racism is racism. It doesn't matter how you slice it, doesn't matter how you cut it. If you are discriminatory against a group of people, right, no matter who they are, that's called racism. I can remember going through an orientation for the state. Okay, and I'll give you an example. And I said this in the orientation, right? So the instructor of the orientation, she said, "Can anybody tell me what a minority is?" And I raised my hand, and she said, "Yes, Ed." I said, "Everything except a white male." Or I said a straight white male. A straight white male is the only non-minority. And everybody in the class laughed, and I'm like, I'm not kidding. And she said, "You're right." There you go. So it is okay in our society today, and this is going back, guys. This is back in the '80s when this happened. Okay, this is back in the '80s. So this is not like 100 years ago or just this is back in the '80s when I had to take a civil service test. All right, anybody in my class that took the civil service test that was a male, okay, that was part of this orientation group, we all scored in the high 90s. I think I scored a 98. I think another guy scored a 97. The minority, pick your flavor, because they were a minority, they automatically got a certain percentage of points higher on their score. So if they scored a 71, And I want you to think about this, okay? I want you to think about this. So they scored a 71 on their test, but they got an extra 20 points just because of whatever group they fit into. Now they're at a 91. So now you have the cream of the crop, realistically, of the white guys, right? Because we were the smartest ones. We scored the highest on the civil service test. So I'm not like patting myself on the back. Oh, I'm so much smarter than everybody else. I'm superior. That's not what I'm saying. But you have the cream of the crop of the white guys, and then you have these other people that are there just because of whatever minority that they belong to, that they got extra points. So they didn't earn it. They didn't earn it. I don't care if the entire police force was Japanese, because the Japanese were the smartest and the best ones to be police officers. If you earn it, regardless of what color you are, whatever the case may be, if you earn it, then you should be the ones that get the position. Period. End of story. Why would you not want the best qualified people in a job? And I'm going to tell you what, and there's going back to China. All right. While our kids are watching these crap TikTok dancing and all this wackaloon crap on there, right? You know what's on TikTok in China? They don't have that stuff for their kids. They're pushing mathematics. They're pushing education. Those kids over there. They're learning how to break down guns and clean guns and do all that type of stuff. Children, we don't do that here. We model. Oh my God, there's a gun. I'm so scared. It's ridiculous. Again, a gun is a tool. I've never seen a gun on its own pick itself up and just start shooting people at random. It doesn't happen. Okay? It takes a human being that has the intention of going out and hurting people. That's what it takes. If we taught gun safety in school, which we should, all right, teach these kids that this is not a toy. It's not a toy, it's a tool. And you have to be careful. I'm going to tell you what, I learned very young, and I've talked about the stories, what happened with me in my own life, and how my life could have been different because I listened in my head to what my training was as a child on how to handle a weapon. Okay? You have to listen to that training. That training is important. And you don't make it some terrible taboo thing, because the minute you walk out of that house, if you got a pistol or a rifle or a shotgun, and if you've made it this big taboo and don't touch it and leave it alone and don't ever do nothing with it, the minute you leave that house, that kid's going to go there, because that is the taboo thing, and that's what they're going to go for. And that happens all the time. That happens all the time. I love when you're 100% fired up. You know what? It's not even that I'm fired up. I'm just passionate about this. I'm passionate about this. Why are we not teaching? Let's be honest. First of all, why did we ever stop teaching kids how to do cursive? Where did that come up? You know what? Now they're never going to be able to read the Constitution because they can't read cursive, right? Why are we not teaching our kids how to balance a checkbook, how to do laundry, how to do the important things, how to cook, make a meal for yourself? Oh no, you don't have to do that. Just go have some McDonald's, which is so healthy and great for you, right? You know, if we actually taught our kids things in school that were important, I think they do need to learn history, because history repeats itself. And if you don't teach them proper history, it will repeat itself over and over and over again. So it's really important that they do learn that. But we need to teach kids home economics again. We need to have these kids learn how to, shop. That it's not a horrible thing to be a plumber, that it's not a horrible thing to be a carpenter, that it's not a horrible thing to be an electrician, that to work in HVAC, where you're always going to have work, you're going to make decent money doing it, but you're looked down upon because of that. It's just like, okay, I'll give you another great example of that, right? Great money, and they get to garbage pick really cool stuff. I love garbage picking. I'm not going to lie. I'll be the first to admit it. But that's job security. That's job security. You go to college for some nonsensical crap of gender studies or basket weaving or I'm a music major, great, good for you. Go out in the real world and try to get a job doing that stuff. You're not going anywhere. Social worker, great, fantastic. Now you're going to have your superiority. I'm going to tell you what. Don't even get me started on social workers. Okay, not a big fan. Not a big fan. Okay, because they don't know what the hell they're talking about because they're not there. They don't deal with it on a daily basis. So, you know, why is it pushed so hard that these are things are important and these other things are not? We need to smarten our kids up. I mean, I'm going to tell you what, going back and looking back now, I wish that I had done carpentry and learned. I mean, my grandfather was a carpenter. He was a plumber. He did all that type of stuff, and I could kick myself now looking back and going, man, why wasn't I with him on those jobs and learning how to do it? I had no interest in it. Had no interest in it. Okay, I have an interest in it now, you know, and I'm really happy that we got some carpenters, in the group that know what they're doing. Mark, I'm not a carpenter. No, not at all, Mark. You're terrible, horrible, horrible with it. But we got guys that have some skills, and that's important. And they're worth their weight in gold. You know, they're worth their weight in gold. So what do we have? 502 in the chat, guys. We're at 239 on the thumbs up. If you have not shot that thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel, and I do appreciate that. Also, it really does make a huge difference again with the algorithm, so I thank you for that reason as well. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to hit all notifications as well, and I do appreciate that as well. I'm going to get back on this again. While China is educating their kids, and they stress education, right? They teach these kids they're working on things from a very very early age. We can't even decide what bathroom to use. We're more concerned about everybody's feelings and who's offended and all this kind of stuff. They're gonna, if we keep going like we're going, okay, if we continue to let our government take away our rights, take away the right to be able to defend ourselves, we're going to be in real, real trouble. Because most of these people out there, folks, and there's a good portion of us, right? A lot of ex-military out there, right? And so, we have that experience, we have that skill, but we're getting older. We're not young kids anymore. We're not 25 anymore. So, but there's a lot of ex-military out there that things go sideways in this country. They know what to do. They know how to take care of business. And if somebody comes in here trying to cause problems, a foreign actor, you're going to see it right in your face. Right in your face. So it is. It's scary. The dumbing down. If you, I don't know if you guys remember, and like I said, because I remember everything. I pay attention to so much stuff. Mark doesn't have his wood stove hooked up yet. He had to go and get the right pipe, so he ordered the right pipe. So when he comes down in April, then he'll have his wood stove up and running. So, but thank you for asking about that. That's a good question. But again, what was I going to say? I had a point I was making. Oh God, I hate it when that happens. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. There's just so much that's insanity right now. My daughter is a social worker. She knows her way with guns. She knows what she's talking about. Well, okay, maybe she's an exception rather than a rule, but I will tell you this, and I shouldn't say all social workers because I've dealt with some ones that were not up to snuff. How's that? Okay, I'm sure there's good ones out there, and I'm sure there's ones out there that really care. But I have dealt with, let's just say, subpar social workers in my time in the nursing field. I'll just put it like that. Okay, so no disrespect to your daughter. I'm sure she's wonderful, but yeah, guarantee Mark hooks up the wood stove and we'll have warm weather. Of course, Mac. Of course, that's how it's going to go. Yeah, it's going to be. He's going to come down here and get it all, but it'll be ready for next winter. So, but it's there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. Uh, we are not as strong as people think that we are. And if we continue to let them erode our rights and take away our right to be able to defend ourselves, we're going to be in real trouble. Real trouble. Like I said, the only thing right now is, and again, it's the same old adage that's always been. Well, how do you stop a bad guy with a gun with a good guy with a gun? That's it. It's the only way. When you have seconds to react and help is minutes away, meaning the police. So, no, Tony, I did not see. What did she say? Did I miss something here? If you have something you want to make a point, guys, all caps would be great. It stands out more. That's why I saw Tony's comment. Um, but again, trade schools are a great thing. We should be encouraging our kids to go to trade schools because, again, they'll never be without work. Banning TikTok is not what they are telling you. Oh, that whole thing, that's all nonsense too, in my opinion. Just my opinion. Yeah, the big spies of China. They're spying on everything. Our own government spies on us. Yeah, they were part of high school when I went. They're called skill centers. Oh, we had BOCES. Certain kids that we spent half a day in regular school, and then we spent half a day. Was metalworking, welders. The carpenters and all that type of stuff. Think about the guys that are welders. What kind of money they're making, especially if they're good. Especially if they're good. Too old to run and gun, but will man a guard tower or a foxhole. I hear you. No, I'm not running through the woods either, old mutt. I'm not. I'm not running through no fields and dodging and dipping and all that anymore. Those days are done. But I can take care of my business. Exactly. There were three A's on your report card. Exactly, Don. But even like home ec, here's and you may. Oh, I think men should know how to sew. I think men should know how to do those things that they're important because you know what? I'm going to tell you. I was talking. Actually, I was talking with Mark before the stream. The system is set up right now, and I'm going to go with New York because I know New York. I was in the system in New York, obviously, right? The system is rigged against men, big time. 90% of the time, the women are awarded to the mothers. 90% of the time. So when my ex and I went our separate ways, and people would say to me, and they would say it shocked. They would say it shocked. They'd go, "Oh my God, you have your kids?" And I would always say the same thing to them. I would always say the same thing. I'd say, somebody's got to be responsible. And they're my kids. End of story, right? 70% of all people incarcerated come from single family homes, which is mother led. Okay. If the father, single parent family home, and it's just the father, it's the same rate as if it was with a mom and a dad. Okay. Same rate. Those kids don't end up in prison either for the majority of them. Okay. Single moms, for whatever reason, because there's not a strong male role model in the picture to teach these kids. And the court system is set up. What happens to men in the court system in a divorce, guys? I mean, anybody out there, any guys out there that have gone through the system that had to pay child support. I'll give you an example. I had a cousin of mine, and he's working a full time job. He was paying so much in child support that at the end of the week, and it's his own fault because he went out and had all these kids with all these different women. So I'm not giving him a pass on that one, okay? But he was paying so much in child support that his paycheck at the end of the week, after working 40 hours, he got $20. I want you to think about that. How many of you out there can survive on $20 a week. They were taking that much money out of his paychecks to go towards child support, right? And again, he laid down with those women. He was responsible, and I get that and all that type of stuff. But in a divorce, 90% of the time, the mom is awarded custody, right? 90% of the time. And I've seen over and over and over again crappy moms get kids. They don't give a crap about their kids. They're a tool to use against the ex-husband because they're bitter, they're pissed off. It happens all the time. Now, don't get me wrong. It is also done the other way, okay? Men get bitter and they're pissed off and they want to hurt the woman. It is so sad to me. Mom and dad don't work out. That happens. That's part of life, okay? But those kids are still your kids, and you should be taking care of your kids regardless. But it doesn't happen that way. And I work with my ex and only made him pay $50 a week. I didn't want to break him. Well, you know what? And I get it, Dawn. I get it. Well, I'll tell you what I asked from my ex-wife. You know what I asked from my ex-wife? I asked nothing. They're my kids. I'm going to take care of them, and that's what I did. I didn't want none of her money. Not that she had any, because she didn't. But I wasn't going. It wasn't what it was about for me. I was. I'm going to tell you what. From a standpoint of a father that gave a crap about his children, I was delighted to have my children. And then the weekends that she decided to blow them off and not take them and all that type of stuff and all that crap that we went through, I was like, hey, it gives me more time to be with them. And I looked at it, she's missing out. That's the way I looked at it. I never, ever once denied my children spending any time with their mother. If they wanted to go with mom, they could go with mom, spend time with her, do whatever they wanted to do, okay? I never, ever. I actually encouraged my daughter to start going back and spending time with her mother because she wouldn't even go for like 2 years. She wouldn't go at all. And I kept saying to her, you know what, honey, that's still your mom. You think she would have done that for me, folks? You think she would have done that for me? No way. Nope. It happens. We're going to do egg count, guys, and then we're going to, yeah, I know. I said, thanks, JJ. I was looking. I just looked at them, and okay, it's 47. And a lot of women are like that, and a lot of men are like that, too. So don't get me wrong. It goes both ways. So it's not just vilifying women. That's not what I'm trying to do. All right, egg count. How many eggs today? And yes or no for Miss Thickneck. So I'll give you guys a moment to get your guesses in. Give you guys a moment to get your guesses, and we will go from there. All right. Finally, a right answer. I kept waiting. I'm going, come on, come on. If you have the same guess, and I think it's Skins Girl is how you say it, and she had 5 eggs, and yes for Miss Thickneck today. A lot of you had 5 eggs and no, but Miss Thickneck did lay today. So, that is the correct answer, and congratulations to Skins Girl. You've won absolutely nothing except for bragging rights. Didn't know what I was answering, lol. Oh my god, that's too funny. We were doing the egg count, and Miss Thickneck is our only, she's an anaconda, so she lays a bluish green egg, and she is the only one that does that, so that's why we have a game. I don't even know how to say that then. But anyway, so that's what you were guessing for. So you got the right answer, so congratulations. I, I'm not sure. Well, anyway, that's who won. They're saying it different. I don't even know how to say that right. All right, it doesn't matter. We know who won. But then you guys are trying to explain it to me. I'm like, okay. Oh my god. So, but no, they need to get back to the basics. Let's start teaching our kids. And I'm so let's talk about this one for a second. Have any of you, as parents, and thank goodness my children were already grown by this point. Um, thank God they were already grown by this point. But Common Core math, is that the most dumbing down thing I have ever seen in my life? Uh, Unbelievable, unbelievable. Why are we not teaching them proper math? You know, why are we not teaching these kids proper math? And in the whole. Oh, I know what I was going to make a point earlier. I was going to say, all right, go on. See, now it came back from earlier in the stream. Back in the 80s, California tried to pass a bill. If you remember correctly, okay, if you're with me, remember this. You remember this if you're my age. Ebonics. Who remembers that one? Right? A whole different language. It was just like, you want to talk about the dumbing down of society? Instead of teaching people to speak proper English, that they would let them speak this gibberish crap. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give you an example because I love examples. I'm in nursing school, all right? And I have a tendency, folks, I am very blunt. I don't sugarcoat things. I think if anybody's been watching this channel for any length of time knows that's how I am. I was in nursing school, and we had a girl in nursing school, and she was an idiot. And I mean, I say that with the nicest way possible. Thank goodness, she never passed her nursing boards because that girl would have killed somebody. That's how dumb she was. But anyway, we would do a conference room meeting every morning before we went out on the floor and did our thing. And so this girl says, mines. And it was just that right time of day, just the right thing. And that was it. And I go, and her name was Frida. I go, Frida, what exactly is mines? I said, the right, proper way to say it is mine. I go, can you say that, Frida? Can you say mine? And she goes like this to me. Well, that's what my baby say. And I looked at her and I went, where do you think your baby learned it from? And at that point, the instructor says, Ed, Ed, that's enough. That's enough. And I'm like, well, if you're going to speak, why not speak proper English instead of this ignorant crap? Now, I will tell you this. I had a lot of very well spoken people in my class of all colors. Okay. I've made it clear before, and I've talked about this. I have one prejudice, folks. I have one prejudice, and that's against stupidity. I can't tolerate it. I can't deal with it. I won't waste my time with ignorant and stupid people. I just don't have the energy. I don't. It's a waste of time. It is. I'm sorry. I just, if you are an idiot, you're an idiot, and I'm going to walk away from you. I just don't. I'm not going to waste my energy. Yeah, X. Yeah, there's another one. Yep, exactly. Again, it's just like, teach people how to speak proper English. I'm gonna tell you. I'll tell you another story that happened, and this happened with my niece. And this is not a racist thing in any way, shape, or form. Okay, and I want you to know that before I even tell you this story. But I will tell you a story, and this is what exactly happened. Okay, my niece, who I love dearly, you guys have seen her on video. She's almost 40 now. Okay, with three boys of her own. But at the time, she was a teenager, and my sister lived in the city, so she had black friends, she had Puerto Rican, white friends, she had a whole mix, and they all hung out all the time at my sister's place because it was like the safe place to be. So I get there one day, and my niece talking to me in that shuck and jive. Okay, I'll just put it like that. That shuck and jive city talk. And I looked at her in front of all of her little friends, and I said, Jeannie, I said, when you talk to me, I said, you talk in proper English. I said, you save that shuck and jive crap for your friends. I said, you don't talk to me that way. I go, do you understand me? And she said, yes, Uncle Eddie, I understand. And I wasn't disrespecting anybody. I was not going to have it. I sat her down later and I said to her, and this is what I said to her, when you go out and you try to get a job and you talk that shuck and jive crap, I said, you aren't going to get hired. They're not going to hire you. I said, if you speak proper English, you carry yourself in a certain manner, and you talk in a certain way, I said, you're going to get hired and you're going to get a job. And that ain't got nothing to do with race, nothing to do with race. That's just a reality. And what I was teaching her was, you talk however you want to talk with your friends. And I don't care how you talk with your friends. But when you get out there in the public and you're dealing with the public and you have a job and you want to get a job, you better not talk that ignorant crap. So that is, take that for what it is. If you want to say that I'm racist for doing that, I don't care because I know I'm not. you know, um, if you don't teach them, who's going to? You know, and her dad wasn't in the picture. I mean, her adopted father was, and he was a good dude. He was a good dude, but he wasn't with her all the time. I was around, and I don't take no crap from no kids. So yeah, most kids today would unplug your life support to charge their phones. It's just there's no respect, unfortunately, and that's the parents' fault. I blame that 100% on the parents today. They want their kids to be their friends. I'm going to tell you, now, now that my daughter is an adult, now granted she is a young adult, okay, she's 21 years old. When she became an adult and she went off to college, my relationship with her had to change. Okay, it had to change because up to that point, I was strictly dad protecting my child. I will always protect my child, but I had to give her that respect now as an adult. Okay, and even though she's still learning and finding her own way and doing all that type of stuff, that is. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you something that me and her had a conversation the other day, and it was a real proud moment for me. Real proud moment for me. She goes, I was having a conversation with somebody, and I won't say who she was having a conversation with, and they were like, "Oh, well, you should have your boyfriend do this and have him do that for you and stuff like that." And Heather was like, "No, no, I'll do it with him." Like bringing in wood is an example. All right, bringing in wood. Her boyfriend helps her bring in wood, but Heather's right there bringing in the wood too. And Heather said to me, Heather got her license. She's got her license, Randy Romines. Um, Heather said to me, she goes, Dad, I always remember what you told me. And this is what I told my daughter from the time she was big enough to walk. I said, don't you ever rely on no man to take care of you. I said, you take care of yourself. Make sure you make enough money that you are not stuck in a position that you can't get out of. Don't ever get yourself in that position. Get it, make your money, have a partnership in a team. That's what a relationship is supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to be. Working together. Working together. Not the woman sits on her behind and goes, oh, I'm going to be over here eating bonbons and watching my soap operas while you go to work all day long. That's not a team effort. Now, if the husband's the main breadwinner and the wife is taking care of the house, that's totally fine. Or vice versa. If the wife is the main breadwinner and the husband's home, then he takes care of the house. You know, whoever is home, right? Now, I wanted my ex-wife home until the kids were school age. When they were school age, I asked her to go back to work part-time. Heaven forbid, terrible of me, right? But that's what I did. Didn't happen. It didn't happen. Um, my son did not graduate college and he owns his own business. There you go. Like I said, college is not for everybody. All college is, in reality, if you think about it, it's an indoctrination camp. It's They go in there to be indoctrinated into what these lunatic professors. These young minds are sponges. They want to learn. They want knowledge, and they're teaching them all this nonsense. And they're not teaching them real life things. I'm going to tell you what the reason. You know why my daughter squared away? Because I was not easy on my daughter. I had high expectations for her, and I expected her to be a decent human being, to treat people with respect, to use her manners. And you know what? She always did. She always did. And she is a squared away young lady. And I'm not just saying that because I'm her dad, but she's doing really really well. Yeah, she likes being able to drive. I mean, she doesn't have her own car yet. That's going to be, you know, excuse me, that's going to be coming, down the road. But you know, but no, she is doing. Einstein was a school dropout, eighth grade. You know what they're doing in schools now is it's a joke, to be honest with you. And that's even like when I was in school. I mean, a lot of that stuff that I learned, I never, I really didn't learn to spell well until, and I don't think I'm a great speller now. I'm not saying that I'm a great speller. I'm better than I was, but I didn't learn that until after I was out of school. So yeah, my spelling's always been atrocious. But all right, we're gonna do shout outs. I got way off a topic tonight, guys, and I really do apologize. I was more I wanted to talk about, that we're falling behind with China, and that they're catching up, if you will, and we could be in big, big trouble if we don't straighten our stuff out. And if we don't let these lunatics disarm us, is a big part of that. We need to be able to defend ourselves. So I think that that's really, really important. All right. Shout out time. We'll start out with Icky Can up in Canada. Real good guy. I would ask you to please show him some support. And he's been around for a bit, and he's living off grid, and he's doing his thing. You have Angry Prepper, which is Jason, who's down in New York City. Love Jason, great guy. I know right now he's been down in Mississippi. I don't know if he's still down there, but I know he was down there, and trying to help out as best he could down there. You have Alaska Prepper with Rudy. There is Alaska Granny. You have Sean James with the Sean James channel and My Soft Reliance, two different channels, same guy. Building up in Alaska, not Alaska, I'm sorry, Canada. Really great watching him build, and he's amazing. So definitely go check him out. You have Demcat. I like Demcat as well. Real good guy. There is Corporal's Corner. You have Bjorn Hansen. There's 80K Man, who's up in the Adirondacks. You have Bizarriza Jizza, who does the Carrington Chronicles, a really interesting story. A lot of good information with that. You have Marfugal News with Adam and Dax. Great guys, really good channel. I highly recommend them. You have Magic Prepper up in North Dakota. There's Wranglestar, and that's Cody. He's got a lot of great information on his channel as well. There is Red Poppy Ranch. You have Survival Lily. There's Kyle's Cabin with Kyle and Sierra doing their thing. I really like them. They're nice kids. You have Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods, husband-wife team, doing their thing there. And I really like what they're doing. They got a lot of great information on their channel. You have Green Greg's. There's a lot of when it comes to gardening, a lot of good information with Green Greg's on that. Southern Prepper One with his Boots on the Ground series, a lot of good information with that as well. There is Gray Man Prepping. You have St. Bernard Acres with Joe. There is Doug and Stacy. They've been around for quite a long time. Really good channel. A lot of great information on their channel. The Nomadic Movement down in Panama. Nice young couple down there doing their thing. The Green Dream Project. They're out in Arizona living in the desert. Real fun to watch what they're doing out there. Camping with Steve. Steve Wallace doing stealth camping. Fun to watch him. It's just an escape. You know what I mean? Just to watch him do his thing. But you can learn some stuff with stealth with him. There's Bush Doctor Survival. You have Monkey Works. The Needy Homesteader. She's been around a long time. Real good channel there. Boss of the Swamp. He's also been around a long time. You have Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. Really good channel. A lot of good information on his channel. He gets into a lot of details with the Grand Solar Minimum and stuff like that. Let's see. We have Patera with the Appalachian Homestead. There is City Prepper. You have Lumina Acres. There is Suspicious Observer, another really good channel. Bear Independent, The Uneducated Economist, Bushcraft Bear. You have Mary Greeley News. She does all this stuff with Yellowstone and the earthquakes and everything like that. So definitely interesting to pay attention to what she's doing. Adapt 2030. There's Malachi's Corner. You have Ice Age Farmer. If you're going to get your weather, there's only one guy you should be getting your weather from, and that is Ryan Hall Y'all. Ryan Hall is an amazing dude, gives back to the community big time, and I got a lot of respect for him. And he's really passionate about the weather, which is kind of cool too. Let's see. There's Russell Brand. Russell Brand gives you the information. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I like that about his channel, so I like his channel. There is Deep South Homestead, another really good channel. You have The Outsider, The Fit Farmer. There is Prep Rebel. You have Simple Life Reclaimed. There is Townsend's. You have The Prepared Mind. There's Pinball Preparedness, who is down in Tennessee. There's East Tennessee Preparedness, The Economic Ninja, and last but not least, Little House Off Gritty. They are also down in Tennessee. There's a lot of great channels out there. I think we should be supporting each other. I think it's important to support each other, and so I would definitely, I'm sure other people have other channels that they've put up on here that they like as well, and that's fine. But I can only give shout outs to so many. So, yeah, I know Russell Brand is on Rumble as well. Because I get over there, you can talk about things that you're not allowed to on here. So that's that happens. But I don't mean to go off on a tangent sometimes, guys. But it's just to me, it's so simple, realistically, and it would not take a lot to fix things. But when you have a small group of people screaming the loudest, right? A small group of people screaming the loudest, and everybody jumping out of their own behind not to offend anybody or not to seem like or be labeled as a misogynist or a racist or a xenophobe or whatever the case may be, right? I mean, you got everybody, they're scared to death to have that type of that label and stuff like that. And it's like we have to stop catering to this little group of people that want to scream the loudest and try to shout you down and try to shut you down and those type of things. We need common sense. I don't know where that went. Whatever happened, and maybe this is just me, but back in the day, I could get in a discussion with somebody, and I'm talking back in the 80s. I could have a discussion with somebody. They would have their opinion. I would have my opinion. At the end of the discussion, they may not agree with me and I may not agree with them, but guess what? We were able to shake hands. We respected each other's opinion and we said, hey, listen, have a good night, whatever. Me and Steve, we're like oil and water sometimes, especially when it comes to our political views, okay? So we're at loggerheads. But guess what? We've been friends for 25 years. Um, I had you could agree to disagree. Exactly. Not anymore. Not anymore. If you don't agree with exactly what I think, then you're bad and you're wrong and you're a horrible person. They'll block you on Facebook because you know, it's. I'll give you an example of that, which I thought was like just unbelievably childish. So, my cousin, who has like numerous children, by numerous women. One of the women that he had a son with, I was friends with her on Facebook, and you know, she was a huge Hillary supporter, and you guys know how I feel about Hillary Clinton. And so when the election came, as joking because I went on her Facebook page and said, "Oh my God, how do you feel about that election?" Whatever. She got so pissed she blocked me. Now she did unblock me later, but really, because you didn't like the fact that I was actually happy that Trump won and not Hillary Clinton. You know what I mean? It's just, but it's that childishness and that pettiness that happens now, um, and it's unbelievable. You know, we need to get back to having a mutual respect for each other, and that's why, like when I tell you guys when I do the end of my stuff, and I said, this division, this division that we have, it's all perpetrated by the powers that be. They want us to be fighting amongst each other. Oh yeah, and don't get me started on participation trophies. Oh my God. Yeah, yeah, no. Teach these kids to win. Teach them how it feels to win. Be a winner. And yeah, you know what? Sports ain't for every kid, but they can maybe excel at something else that other kids can't excel in. Find out what they're good at. Let them go into what they're good at. I'll tell you another baseball story. Back when I was, and we're gonna do We Are Legion in just a moment, but I'm gonna tell you this really quickly, okay? I coached Little League. I was an assistant coach for 1 year. I was a head coach for 3 years. All right. And the way it worked was if your kid was on my team, you loved me. If your kid was on the opposite team, they hated my guts. My kids won the championship all 3 years I was a head coach. We won the championship every year. My last year that I coached, we went undefeated. Okay. I taught those kids, you get them down, you put your foot on their neck, and you don't let up. This isn't a fun thing. Well, it's fun. They want them to have fun, but we had a kid. Get a good example. Last year, when my team went undefeated, we had a kid on the team, and this kid sucked. I mean, couldn't catch, couldn't throw, couldn't hit. I mean, he was horrid. I mean, just a horror. And his father was one of those parents that thought his kid was going to be like the next Babe Ruth. You know what I mean? It just unrealistic expectations for this kid. And I encouraged this kid, and I tried to teach this kid. He had one hit, folks. That's how bad this kid was. That's how bad he was. He was like an automatic out. You knew this kid got up, he was going to be out. Period. Okay. But he finally got a hit, and we made a huge deal out of it. Really did, because I was so happy this kid finally got a hit. But we coached too, and those parents would likely really piss me off. Oh yeah, I had some discussions. With parents. So anyway, but this poor kid, he finally got a hit, so we made a big deal of it. I thought, which was a good thing. I'll tell you something else that happened one time. I had a mother said to me. Now I had two assistant coaches, and both of their kids were really good, and my kid was really good. That was Josh. Okay, and so why were they good? Because the hours that I put in teaching Josh how to play baseball, I could not even begin to tell you how many hours, ground balls, throwing the ball to him, doing all that type of stuff. As a parent, that's what you should do, right? Teach your kid, right? So anyway, one mother says to me, I have a question. And I said, okay. She goes, I see that certain kids, especially coaches' sons, are playing all the times where other kids don't play as much. And I looked at her and I go, would you like your child to play more? And she goes, yeah, I would. I said, well, I'll tell you what then. I go, take the hours that these coaches and myself, have taken to teach our kids how to play, how to do a ground ball. You teach your kid to play better? I said, I'll play your kid more. She looked at me and she went, you a-hole. And I went, yeah, there you go. Whatever. Have a good day. I don't care. I played everybody because I had to play everybody. That was part of the rules. But I'm going to put my stronger kids in positions where it's not going to hurt the team. That's just a reality. That's just a reality. But anyway, I digress. The fond days, thinking back on it. But I really did enjoy coaching. I did. I'll tell you another coaching story in a second after We Are Legion. So We Are Legion. We are many. We are all over the country. We're all over the world. Where is everybody from tonight? We have Melbourne, Australia with Philip in the house. Good day, Philip. Montreal, Quebec, Canada with Daniel. Franklin County, Ohio. We have beautiful Pennsylvania Wilds with Pennsyltucky Granny. North Hollywood, California with Miss Mary. Inverness, Florida with Clyde in the house. Nate from New Mexico. Janet from BC, Canada. We have Joan in Leesburg, Florida. Fort Worth, Texas with Sonia. Churchville, New York with Kathy. Cape Cod, Massachusetts. West Central Georgia with Tony. Waterloo, New York with Sharon. Dayton, Ohio with Rhonda. Tucson, Arizona with Angela. Grace in Okama, Massachusetts. I probably said that wrong, and I apologize. Northern California with Shanasta. Scott County, Virginia with Midway Farms, Endicott City, Maryland with Stephanie, Houston, Texas with Billy, Pipestem, West Virginia with Troy. We have, hey Troy, shoot me an email, give me your phone number. I know exactly where you are. Union City, Pennsylvania, Richard. Athens, Pennsylvania with John. York, Pennsylvania. We have Wisconsin in the house with Janet. Northern Georgia with Nostradamus. I like that one. I like that name. Uh, Vegas is in the house with M. Russ. Wyoming with Patrick. Northern Louisiana. We have snowy Central New York. I'm glad you're having snow up there. We are not. Northwest Arkansas with Tina. Wyoming in the house with Mary. The UP of Michigan with Dawn. Bumstead, Florida with Frederick. We have Joplin, Missouri with Valerie. West Central Ohio with Dale. Let's see. The Great Smoky Mountains with Lena. So Southwest Georgia. So again, guys, we're all over the country. We're all over the world. We are a huge network of people. We're a huge family, is what we are. We're the people that are awake. We are like-minded. We are going to have such a huge advantage when the time comes. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep prepping. Keep getting ready, and you're going to be just fine. So I'm going to tell you one more baseball story with Josh. So Josh would pitch. He was a catcher, and he would play shortstop. Okay, so we'd bounce around from all those. We had certain kids that could pitch, and but Josh was really, really good. He didn't throw super hard, but he was really, really accurate. So he's pitching against this kid, and he throws a pitch in there, and this kid rocks it. I mean, rocks it, but it goes foul, right? So I call timeout. I walk out to the mound, and I said to Josh, I go, okay, are you listening? He goes, yeah. I said, you throw the next one at his head, up and in. Don't hit him. Don't try to hit him, but just throw it inside, up at his eyes so he can see it. I said, after you do that, I said, he's going to be scared to death. I said, then you own the outside of the plate, and then you get it. You got him. Throws the next one up and in. Kid backs off. You can see his eyes got all big, right? And gets back in the box. Two more BBs on the outside corner of the plate. Strike two, strike three, kid out. Okay, that's how you play baseball. It's a strategy. You have to be smart. You have to know what you can do, what you cannot do, and you got to teach these kids. And if you teach them, then they're going to be just fine. But if you mollycoddle them and say, "Oh, it's okay," you can do whatever you want to do. Mm-mm, don't work that way, because in a real world, when you get out in a real world, they will eat you up. We told our kids to crowd the plate. Yeah, well, I taught my kids a lot of pitching as well, or bunting. I'm sorry, a lot of bunting. I had a lot of bunting because bunting was good, especially when you're younger. That's a huge, huge tool you can use. So yeah, I utilized every aspect of the game. A lot of other coaches, I never saw other coaches had their kids bunt at all. I had a lot of my kids bunt. If I knew they couldn't swing real well, bunt. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a base hit out of it. So, but yeah, it was fun. I like I said, I enjoyed it. The kids played well, and it was a lot of fun. So anyway, guys, I want to thank my moderators who do a fantastic job. Did you have tryouts? Basically, what would happen is they would do. We would get a bunch of kids, and I had my coaches, so I always had my coaches' kids, and I had the same coaches all 3 years, and then we then it was basically okay. This one would want these kids or whatever, and then you just like had this pool and be like, okay, this you got this one, and this one. That's kind of how it went. So you hoped that you got some good kids that could play, and I got pretty lucky. I got some pretty decent talent, especially that last year. I was stacked. I had a stacked team that last year. I had a lot of kids that could play. I had like 5 or 6 kids that really knew how to play out of 12, and they were dominating. I mean, just all of them could hit the ball. It was fun. So anyway, thank my moderators, do a great job. I want to thank all you guys for being here as well. I really do appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. I do enjoy these chats. I went a little on the soapbox tonight, so I hope that Well, if you're offended, you're probably unsubscribed already anyway. So anyhow, guys, um, remember, we are truly all in this together. We are one race called the human race. As soon as we can figure that one out, we truly will be in better shape. We have to stop letting them divide us. All the tools that they use, I've gone over them a million times. We got to come together as human beings. We really do. We got to work together and come together. It's the only way that it's going to work. It's the only way it's going to work. Also, remember to hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it's really, really important that we tell the people that we care about every single day how we feel. Last but not least, STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you are trying to do, whatever you are trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only one that's going to stop you from achieving your goals is you. That's it. Nobody else. Stay positive, stay away from the negativity, and you're going to be just fine. All right? Stay positive, and I'll see you guys next time. Keep prepping, guys. Keep getting ready. I will see you all later. Have a good night. Prepper Nurse One, out for now.